Good morning, Pepe. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Tavi. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's great to see you again, and great to be here in your studio, making some recordings.
Thank you. Whenever I see you, the day gets better. And over the last few years, maybe a year and a half or so, I feel like I haven't only gotten acquainted with your work as a luthier, but I have made a good friend.
I feel exactly the same way, and I'm always impressed with your professionalism and how you keep that on a human level.
Thank you.
You always put people ahead of work, but you keep your work focus extremely high, and I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. When I first started playing Pepe's guitars, I thought that these guitars are some of the best bang for the buck. And I have become very curious to see how Pepe is progressing in his work, in his art, in his craftsmanship and sound quality. And whenever there are new guitars that are available in your shop, I want to play them.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a guitar builder. I build my own guitars in my San Diego workshop with my brother-in-law who does French polish for me. And I brought two of those guitars. Those are the Pepe Romero guitars, and that is my passion and I feel like my purpose. I have Guitarist Romero, which I'm holding in my hand, the Parlor of Guitarist Romero. That's a collaboration between myself and Wolfgang Yellinghaus.
Got it.
My designs made by Wolfgang, and these I can offer at a very competitive price, and you're getting a world-class guitar. Very exciting that people who can't afford my custom guitars can get their hands on something that can have my work in an achievable way and be completely satisfied with their instrument.
Wonderful.
And the third thing is Pepe Romero Strings, which is a company that my father and I made. We build strings for classical guitar and for ukulele, and La Bella is the manufacturer of those strings, and they do them to our spec. Pepe Romero Strings is a proud sponsor of the Los Angeles Guitar Festival, and these are all strung with those strings.
Wonderful. Can we start by talking a little bit about the strings? What do you mean the strings are built to your specs? I mean, how do you even come up with specs for classical guitar strings?
You come up with specs first by expressing your likes and dislikes and desires. The guitar sets were handled by my father, and communicating with La Bella on what he likes and what he wishes was better and what can be. And they sent countless string samples and different materials, and my father combined basses, trebles, different gauges, thicknesses, and decided what to him were perfect guitar sets. This particular set, which is my go-to, is the Pepe Senior. It's a hard tension, clear nylon with a vintage formula for making nylon. And this came about from a conversation that my father had with La Bella, saying that he said, I think strings used to be better than they are now. You know, in the 70s and the early 80s, I liked the sound better. Why? And they said, well, there was a different formula back then. It was less consistent in execution, but nylon over time has become more clear, and it's a different makeup. And they were able to provide us a string made under modern technology that had the old formula, and that's what this Pepe Senior set is. And it's a warmer string. It's not as slippery under the fingers, but it's not a rectified string, so it doesn't have the string noise.
Got it. Okay.
And
So it doesn't have that resiny feel to it.
Right. And that's how this string set came about. And La Bella was phenomenal in working with us on the guitar sets, and then I did the same thing with the ukulele sets and mini guitar sets, and dialed them into exactly what we wanted for our instruments. And you know, I spend countless hours building instruments. I have a line of instruments, Romero Creations, that I design as well, that are ukuleles, and they're different body shapes, and I need strings to be a certain way on different models, and this was a means to get exactly what I want and control the end result. And for my father to go on stage or in the recording studio with strings that are exactly how he wants them to be, where he made the decision and didn't rely on someone else's decisions.
Right.
And we love it. the string company part of that came about because if you're gonna get strings exactly how you want, you have to buy a lot.
Right.
So there was a need to sell the strings, and hence we make a brand out of it.
Yeah. They make sense. So it's modern technology where you get the consistency, the precision of modern tools and equipment, but you have the cocktail or the recipe of old school strings.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I have a student who told me that he just bought all the strings he could get, and he spent hours and hours just trying strings. And at the end of the day, he still didn't find the right strings.
Yeah, it's
or the right
you
combination.
need much more than a day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky, and for me and for my father, the days of mixing sets is over because we just made them how we want them.
Yeah.
It is difficult and it's subjective. You know, these are what we love. It doesn't mean everyone's gonna love them. It means they're gonna be good.
Right.
I can guarantee that, but I can't guarantee that my desires or my father's desires are your desires.
That's right. Yeah. And we all like different things, and we all hear things differently, and so it's okay to have a cocktail. But what I've noticed with strings, Pepe, is when I try to mix and match, I may get the quality that I want in a particular string, but they seem off balance with each other.
Yes.
Which is really frustrating because if you play, for example, for the G string, sometimes a clear nylon, it's a little too dull sounding and too muffled. So if I put a carbon string, it sounds wonderful if you just play lines on that string, but when you put it in the context of the other 6 strings, it just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So I think having a good balanced set of string that sounds great across the board is really good. So folks, try these strings. Whenever I play them, I think they just feel really good to the hand. They don't, even the hard tension, they don't feel stiff.
Right.
So the right hand, it has some elasticity to it that's really comfortable.
Yeah. With the guitar sets, especially my father, one of his main priorities is the ability to control the release of the string. So if it's a hard string, you still have to be able to pull it, hold it, and decide when to release it. You shouldn't be fighting that string to pull it back or have it want to slip out from under your finger.
Right.
But yeah, again, these are sets made the way that Pepe Sr. deemed what he wants.
Yeah. And you know what? He's Pepe Sr.
Yeah.
And to me, there is a reason why he chose this kind of strings and why he plays a certain guitar. These people perform at the highest possible level.
Yeah.
And so every single edge that you could get on the concert stage, it's worthwhile.
Absolutely.
And it's worthwhile going through the process of developing your own string since you can find the right strings.
It is. And we had fun with it. You know, it's been a blessing to have that relationship with my father. As father-son, you know, disregard the guitar, a wonderful relationship. But then if you put our two passions, which are through the roof, passionate with the guitar, it's so fun as the builder and the player. Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell us about this guitar. So this is the Parlor.
This is the Guitarist Romero Parlor. It's a 630 scale, 630 millimeter scale with a 51 millimeter nut. It's a smaller bodied guitar. Reminiscent of guitars in the early 1900s, great Spanish guitars. And it has a big, warm, full sound. It feels good to play. It's convenient to travel with, and it has loads of power.
Yeah.
So this is the most recent addition to Guitarist Romero. It's been out for almost a year now. This has a Western red cedar top and an East Indian rosewood body.
Does it come in a spruce version as well, or for now?
It comes in both cedar and then Swiss moon spruce.
What does it mean, Swiss moon spruce?
So the Swiss part means it's coming out of the Alps from Switzerland. Moon spruce means it was cut at midnight of the new moon, when the moon is as far away from Earth as it's going to be, which creates the least gravitational pull of the sap up the tree. So on a new moon, more sap sits down in the roots. In a very old world way of doing. When you cut the tree, the wood is drier and lighter weight. than any other time of the year. And so Wolfgang goes and hand selects all the spruce at a lumber mill in Switzerland, and you can get moon spruce with any tree that you cut. It's the time that you cut the tree that makes it moon.
Got it. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Moon rosewood. And it's a romantic old world idea, and I really think there's something to it.
This is wonderful. I mean, the aesthetics are beautiful. I love the rosette.
Thank you. It's a take on a Domingo Esteso rosette. Domingo Esteso and Santos Hernandez are my main aesthetic inspirations.
So for people with smaller hands, I would think even people who play guitar in the latter part of their lives and the stretches are more challenging, this could be a really good option. So let's see what it can do. Just really wonderful balance and sustain. Just to demonstrate a little bit the strings, some of the rectified strings, when I apply a certain technique, which is a slicing technique, or when I travel on the string to produce a warmer sound rather than a quick release, you hear this kind of scrape sound.
Right.
There's nothing like that on this string.
Yeah, this is not rectified. A rectified string has been passed through a grinder, and it creates a texture on that string, which gives more control of the release of that string,
Right.
And a kind of a brighter tone actually. But this is just it's not done that way.
Yeah. Going again. It's a big sounding guitar. I was expecting a smaller sound, more intimate, but it's a really big sounding guitar for a parlor. Okay, so what do we have here, Pepe?
This is the Guitarras Romero Espana in Swiss moon spruce and East Indian rosewood. It is a 650 scale. It has a 52 millimeter nut. It's strung with the Pepe Senior set of Pepe Romero strings. And this is being donated to the Los Angeles Guitar Festival. And I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So this particular guitar is donated by Pepe to the cause of the Los Angeles Guitar Festival. The festival is scheduled for May the 17th through the 19th, 2024 here in the Los Angeles area in Santa Clarita, California. And we're going to raffle this guitar off, and all the proceeds from this raffle will go directly to supporting the visiting artists who are going to come to the festival. It's a great event. We had a wonderful time last year.
Absolutely.
And this year is going to be even better, and I think the word is getting around that this is one of the top events in terms of the guitar in the world, and so we're looking forward to a great festival. Let's see.
I was part of the festival last year as a vendor, and I had such a wonderful time that I wanted to be more involved if possible, hence the guitar donation and sponsorship of Pepe Romero strings. It was the best feeling festival that I have ever been to, and everything was very high quality, and then the general mindset of all the vendors and the artists there was about making beautiful music. It wasn't competitive or feisty. It was just, it felt good, and that's what drew me to become a sponsor of the festival.
Thank you very much. And that's what we want to create. And if you attend the festival, then it's going to be our festival.
Please come.
And so it's nobody's festival per se. but we all contribute that energy to the festival, and I think the people who were there last year are going to set the tone for that kind of collaborative, just really positive atmosphere.
Come make music, explore guitars by many excellent builders, and just have a good time.
So this guitar sells for
$3,599, and it's the Espana model.
Got it. Okay. I love the intonation on this guitar. So let me play something that's sweet, because the trebles sing really beautifully on this instrument. This guitar has no playtime on it, so to me, if it sounds good from the beginning, it will sound even better. If it doesn't sound right in the beginning, it will never sound right.
I agree with you. Don't wait for a guitar that's not there to get great, but something that sounds good will sound better later.
Yeah, for a little period of my life, I was into cowboy boots. I have no idea, because I'm not a cowboy, right? But I like the cowboy boots, and I got sold this pair of boots, and they were really expensive. They could go like $200 or more, way more, you know? And the salesman says, oh, no, you will feel better. You just wear them for a couple of weeks. And it was about the worst 2 weeks of my life, and it never felt right. And so I ended up just giving them away. It's like that with guitars too. You know, if it doesn't sound quite right, it may get a little better. But
note to self, I will stick to the flip-flops.
yeah, just stay with your flip. Okay, here is a piece that I really love. This is a Cavatina by Stanley Myers. piece, and the guitar is beautiful. It really, I think, highlights the sweetness of that piece. I could feel the strings kind of loosening up and going out of tune, but I thought, let's not retune.
No, you were playing beautifully. And, we have a brand new guitar with a brand new set of strings, but this one is built like a mid-70s Spanish guitar, and I think the tone coming out definitely represents that well.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody is going to be a very lucky winner of this guitar, and so thank you so much for the sponsorship, Pepe. What else do we have?
My pleasure.
Let's see. All right, what do we have here, Pepe? What is this?
This is the Guitarras Romero LR. So it has a lattice brace top and a raised fingerboard. This is the modern offering from Guitarras Romero. It has a Western red cedar top and an East Indian rosewood body with a 52 millimeter nut. Also, it's strung with the Pepe Senior set of Pepe Romero strings. So all three of the Guitarras Romero today have the same set of strings, and you'll hear the different tones that the instruments themselves offer.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. It's very light.
It's a lightly built instrument, yes.
It just feels like the instrument vibrates and breathes really well. Strong projection. Just keeps on going.
That's all you need to do.
What I've noticed with lattice braced instruments, they tend to be a little bit more chromatic.
Right.
But this particular guitar is very sweet, and then it also has that really drastic, which is unusually good for a lattice.
I have to, tip my hat to Wolfgang in this case because I personally don't build lattice brace guitars. I haven't been inspired to do so. I typically don't love them, but in working with Wolfgang, he built a lot of the lattice brace tops, and they have a warmth that hasn't been lost to this system. So he in this design was able to achieve a really beautiful, warm sounding lattice brace guitar that still had the kick and punch of what we do want from that lattice brace guitar. So, with the Guitarras Romero version, we're still getting the warmth that I demand from an instrument. And it's a beautiful sounding modern instrument.
So this is the guitar that I picked for myself from your collection.
Yes.
It is a raised fingerboard, lattice braced.
Yes, in spruce though.
Yeah, in spruce. And I tend not to any longer think in terms of traditional, modern. Like, does the guitar feel good?
That's all that matters.
Is it expressive? Yes. Does it respond to the way I want the guitar to respond? And then the other stuff is inconsequential, right? It doesn't matter if it's made out of lettuce.
It doesn't matter who made it.
Yeah.
It matters what it is and what it does for you.
It doesn't matter.
Lettuce, maybe not, but
okay, so let me play something that would highlight how versatile this guitar can be.
Crisp like lettuce.
Okay, here we go. This is a piece that I wrote. It's called Arugula.
Yeah. It's okay to have fun, people. We take it serious, but not 100% of the time.
Okay, so this is a very traditional piece. It's a study by Fernando Sor that I love, that shows the dynamics and the colors that could be expressed with this particular instrument. incredibly sensitive.
Well
It's
done.
beautiful. Listen to the trebles of this. Beautiful. It's beautiful, and what doesn't come across is the subjective experience of the guitar. It is just really easy to play. You play it and it feels familiar right off the bat. Great playability, good balance. Yeah, and it's got the power of a lattice.
It's a versatile instrument.
Yeah, it just does everything well.
I wish that everyone could have the same angle that I have watching your hands dance on those strings. It's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you. It's wonderful. Yeah,
Thank you.
a great, great versatile instrument. I love it. Okay, let's take a look at another one. These are the direct imprint of your hands, these next two, huh?
Yes, the next two are guitars that I made myself in my shop in Oceanside. This is my most recent. This is number 386. I finished it about a month ago. This one I built off my waiting list just because I wanted to. I was inspired to. I wanted to use this beautiful piece of cedar that has some kind of bear claw going on, and then a really wild set of Brazilian rosewood that I cut up a couple of years ago. I've had this for about 20 years in a block, and I cut the block up about a year ago and just kind of couldn't believe what I saw inside. So this is a guitar I made just to be available. It's a 650 scale with a 52 millimeter nut. Something I've been doing recently in search of the tone of the 660 scale is taking the sound hole of my 650s and raising it up about a centimeter. So what looks like a 20th fret is actually the 19th fret. And when I raise that sound hole, the bar beneath the sound hole comes up and this lower bout becomes larger. It's a larger soundboard. Interesting. The braces get a little longer and it vibrates a little more free. So that's something that I started doing about a year ago, and I really love this. It's no longer an experiment, but a way of building.
How did you get the idea of moving the sound hole?
The idea came through experimentation in ukulele designs.
Okay.
And we do trying to make the most compact ukulele, smaller size that sounds like a larger one. A lot of conversations with Daniel Ho, who is a co-designer of mine in Romero Creations, and experimenting with that, raising the sound hole up, making a bigger lower bout
Yeah.
on a small little instrument to get a more full sound, and decided to apply that to the classical guitar and see what would happen. It was it didn't that concept didn't cross over until just one moment about a year ago where oh, why aren't I raising the sound hole on this guitar? So
wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't wait to check it out. Okay, right off the bat, so light. So light. And that matching set is just really gorgeous. Would
Yeah.
this be considered the sap part of the
Yes.
wood? Okay.
it's sapwood, and this part of the tree was lower down in the tree. Kind of wild. Normally I would go for a straighter grain, but this is like a celebration of nature
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the binding is Hawaiian koa.
Okay, nice. It blends in seamlessly with the nuance of the sapwood.
Yes.
Such a good match, and
Thank you.
beautiful chocolatey brown.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
This again has the Pepe Senior set of Pepe Romero strings on it. So the same set of strings that were on those Guitarras Romero. Except this time I made the guitar myself.
All of a sudden, I just feel the power of this instrument. So again, the subjective experience of the guitar, the neck is chunky. It feels the hand much better, and yet the action is really easy to play. It's the strings, I mean, just the way it's set up is beautiful.
The guitars that I build generally are going to have a thicker neck. And the reason for that thicker neck is to relieve the pressure on this part of the hand and this knuckle. As you squeeze a thinner neck, which the industry standard is a thinner neck.
Yeah.
And people say, thin, easy. It actually creates more stress here and here, squeezing something thin, as opposed to if you squeeze your hand and then move up your arm to something thicker, you have more leverage and you don't have to use as much force. That's the idea of that slightly thicker neck. It's not like a crazy thick neck, but definitely more mass there than others. I also hear a difference with a thicker neck and more mass in that with that cedar. There's a little more substance to the note itself, in my opinion.
Maybe a little bit of sustain
Yeah.
added to.
If you think everything you do when you pluck the string is transmitting energy and energy flowing through the instrument and vibrating, having a little more neck gives a little more an easier flow of transmission of that energy.
Yeah.
But then it's the totality of all components that,
Right.
that
It's
come
a
together.
complex
Yeah.
unity, and they
That's
somehow,
one small
yeah,
aspect.
that's beautiful. Really sweet sounding guitar. Okay, let's see. Okay, so on this guitar I'll play a piece entitled Preludio de Adios by Alfonso Montes.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautifully
It's
played. I'd never heard that piece. So
gorgeous.
deep.
Yeah, really beautiful. And that final harmonic, I have a couple of guitars that have an extra fret, you know, they
Yes.
have a C, so I got a little disoriented.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
important to know that is fret number 19.
Yes.
But once you know it, the harmonic is there.
Right, absolutely. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's there.
beautiful.
The execution is poor, but
No, absolutely.
the quality is there.
It's good to throw a little human touch in there because otherwise it's just not fair. to
Right.
play like that.
And this is not scripted in any way. This is just us hanging out and
Yeah.
playing guitars and enjoying this wonderful instrument. Yeah, it's really, really great. I love this guitar.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, something that I really love about the sound of this instrument is that really dark, solid, fat bass combined with an even transition through that very clear, high, crisp treble.
Yeah.
And this particular instrument has that really wide range without getting muddy in between. And,
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it. And
Yeah. And that low E string, that's a really beautiful, very Spanish sounding, strong fundamental, but it's not drowning out the rest of it. Everything is there.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That whole transition, something that I really love about this particular
Yeah.
instrument. So that my number 386, and she's
Beautiful.
about a month old. And I built this to be available.
Wonderful. And for price and specific people could contact you
Yes.
directly.
Yes.
What is the website's name?
Luthier.peperomero.com.
luthier.peperomero.com.
I don't have any of my instruments like listed for sale to buy on the website, but people can contact me through there.
Yeah.
Follow
Because
the-
there is a waiting list.
Yes, the waiting list is 3 to 4 years. I reserved the right to build a guitar like this that I was just in the mood for. So
It's wonderful.
that's what this one's all about.
Yeah. So it's one off. Okay.
And the last guitar, I feel like I should sit when I say it. I built this guitar in 2017. It's my number 274. It has a German moon spruce top and an Italian flame maple body. I built this for a customer who had a collection of my guitars, and he ordered this to be made as my father would want it. So it has a 660 scale with a 54 millimeter nut. It has my reverse fan bracing, and it just came back to me. This string set is an idea that I'm playing with, combining my fluorocarbon set and the Pepe Senior set.
Interesting.
The fluorocarbons have a lot of pop, a lot of power, and the high E string, and this isn't just my set, but all sets, I wish it were warmer. You just don't get that with a thinner piece of fluorocarbon.
Right.
So this has the Pepe Senior first string and a fluorocarbon second and third, and my hard tension basses. So it's a mixed set that I will be packaging. I think by the end of the year I should have that ready. But
Got it.
it's, for me, you're getting that pop and power of the carbon, but a warmer high end than the full carbon set. So
Wonderful. Okay, let's see.
probably need to tune this up too, but
It's fine.
close, yeah.
Close enough for jazz, right?
This guitar has been played a lot. The owner, the gentleman who had it, had 4 of my guitars at the time and played them. I think he every night would switch in a rotation. When I get guitars back, my brother-in-law William, who does my French polish, he will go over it. It's looking like new. It was well taken care of, but it's been really cleaned up, and it's like a new guitar, but well played in. It's a lot of fun to get to see the guitars come back after years of playing and see what an impact that has.
Yeah, yeah.
The guitars just love to vibrate and move,
Mm-hmm.
and especially over the years.
Yeah, and this one definitely feels like it's broken in. So you could hear the pop of the fluorocarbon.
Yes. Something very interesting when putting the Pepe Senior, the nylon first, with the fluorocarbon second and third, this first string is quite warm. When you have it next to the fluorocarbon, it gets brighter to my ear. It doesn't sound like the same first string that's on the other guitars, but it is. And it must have to do with the, when you pluck a string, that's not all that's vibrating on your guitar.
Yeah.
Everything is in motion, and having this carbon material has an effect on what's next to it. So it actually is beneficial in this case because tonally, I do hear a difference in the nylon and the fluorocarbon, but it brings it closer to that carbon than if it were the other two nylon strings.
Interesting, yeah.
And that's just what I hear and feel.
Maybe the sympathetic resonance of the strings.
But I find this to be an exciting new set. A lot of people put a nylon first on a carbon set already, and I wanted to be able to offer that without having to mix sets.
Got it. So what I love just right off the bat, the overtones are just the right amount. It's not, and I don't know if you're able to hear this, but it takes about 1.5 seconds for the overtone to come and take the note.
It blooms.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. So you hear a little bit of the overtones, but then about 1 second into the sound, you hear it pick up the note and just kind of carry it through. There it is. There it is. Do you feel that?
I do.
It's really beautiful.
Let me put a little pressure on
Okay,
it because
go
as
ahead.
you play, I think about my grandfather a lot and his philosophy. This is something that you do so well, and this is why I want to say that he believed that the musical notes that you play, the sounds that you create, are vibrations that go into the universe and last forever. And so he was always telling people, think about that and make sounds that you want to go out there forever and be healing and beautiful and wonderful. And I try and apply that philosophy to my building. I want my guitars to be something that the sounds that they create will do good in the world. And as I sit here and listen to you play, I'm hearing sounds that should go on forever.
Oh, thank you, Pepe.
It's a treat to get to hear you explore these instruments, and then as the builder to hear the end result played at the highest level. So
Yeah, thank you so much. And as I'm kind of getting to know this guitar, this is my first time experiencing it. I want to play stuff that I feel the guitar really responds well, and this is something I haven't played in years and years, but it feels like the right thing to play on the guitar. And so what I want to point out is the way the guitar note, the tone itself, interacts with the overtones of the instrument. And the overtone, sometimes they could be so heavy and so loud that it drowns out the note itself.
okay.
In this situation, I think the overtone gives the note some space for it to sustain itself, and then it comes and takes the note and carries it forward. So it's got that really beautiful, I think you said, blooming sound.
Yeah.
And
it allows it to breathe and to fill that space. A mode of transportation, maybe. From
So
one note
let's
to the
see
next.
if this comes across in the recording. I'll just play a note, and then why don't you point out when you hear the overtone take over the note?
Okay.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, again.
Now.
Okay, I hear it a little bit later. I hear it right there,
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
It's almost like a second later where I feel the note drops just a little bit and then the overtone comes. And also the sympathetic tones around that, they're right on pitch. Sometimes you could have a small variation where the overtone is slightly sharp or slightly flat, but in this case is like in perfect unison.
Do you find in that example you said that it's the overtone that's sharp or flat, or is it the note?
No, the note is fine, but the overtones sometimes interact different with the initial source of the sound. And you could hear it on the G sharp. It's right there. Sometimes that G sharp could almost sound like just a slight variation, but just beautiful, the clarity of it. So this is the Preludio Saudade from La Catedral by Agustin Barrios.
Profoundly done.
Thank you. I love this guitar.
Thank you.
It's just really, really gorgeous sounding instrument.
A lot of people find maple to be bright, or I hear it described as a bright sounding wood, and I find it to be the opposite. I find it very, very warm and just this loving, compassionate note that comes out, and it has the bright high end, but it has a low end that's so deep.
Yeah. most of the maple guitars that I've played, for some reason, I don't know if it was the maple itself or the guitars themselves, but I had a hard time identifying with them. Maple seemed to me to be a little bit more clinical, more sterile sounding than cypress, for example.
Okay.
Cypress seems more velvety, a little bit, but
It can. I think the important thing as the builder, you have to work them differently. If you
Mhm.
have an idea of what a back should be as far as thickness, then you're lost
yeah.
going from one species to another. And I build my maple back substantially thicker than a rosewood back. My cypress backs also are similar in thickness to my maple. And if you give a little more meat to your maple, it's going to give you a lot more of that low end warmth, and
Yeah.
you still have the crisp, clean, high end frequencies. But I absolutely love it. You know, the violin builders are not crazy,
No,
and
sure.
I think it's an underappreciated, underused wood.
Yeah. Oh goodness, it is. This guitar is just so beautiful. Love it.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
music.
Really,
That's
really beautiful. Congratulations, Pepe. Every time we get to sit together and I get to play your instruments, I feel ennobled by the beauty of the instruments, and they stir up something in me that I love music. You know, it's a reminder. So
Yeah, we are blessed to have that in our lives, for
Mhm.
sure. And I'll come here any chance I get to sit here and hear you play. So
wonderful.
thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, let's get something to eat for lunch. Folks, we will see you in May 17th through the 19th at the Los Angeles Guitar Festival. Pepe is going to be there. Pepe Sr. as well. Mr. Romero is going to be there at the festival also, and a lot of great artists. Check out laguitarfestival.org, and you could sign up for next year's festival, and also check out all these instruments at luthier.peperomero.com. Okay.
Yeah, come have a great time with us, please.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, I love this guitar, Pepe.
Me too. The
It is
maple's
so
unbelievable.
beautiful. Yeah.
I got this with Eddie Bloshinger, who bought it from a veneer maker, and they were making maple veneer, and the way they do it is they grab the center board of the tree, and they have these metal clamps that come in and hold it, and then it shaves the veneers, and it flips it, and it shaves the veneers, and what's left is the exact center of the tree.
Oh, wow.
And they can't cut anymore because the knives can't clear those clamps.
Got it.
So he was kind enough to share with me a lot of maple, which is the perfect center of the tree. So you see all these, it's perfectly quarter sawn. You can see the connective tissues and the flames. Some really great stuff.
And I love the this center seam there.
This center seam is something really special. I was lucky enough to study a little bit with Jose Luis Romanillos, and in my time in his workshop in Siguenza, he had a little box of cut-offs of his inlays, and he gave me a few pieces of inlay that he made, and the butt inlay is a gift from Jose Romanillos.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And he lives in Siguenza?
He did, yes.
He did. Let me play Siguenza on this guitar, just because you said it. Beautiful guitar.
Very nice.
So my favorite
Beautiful piece.
of all of them is this one.
All right.
Not that,
Yeah.
you know, but
We all must have, well, you not must, but yeah. I absolutely love this guitar, and something I was touching on before was how exciting it is to see them come back and how they develop over time with a lot of playing. This guitar's had a lot of playing, but it's in wonderful condition.
yeah.
I also love this guitar.
And as a player, I'm more drawn to something like this because it's opened up,
Right.
and it's ready to hit the ground. You know, there's not a whole lot of development, but also I like developing guitars myself because they develop differently with a certain type of playing.
Absolutely. And they will continue to develop indefinitely. I mean, I see this with my father's collection. Even guitars that are 50, 60 years old, with playing and more time, they continue to evolve. And it's such a beautiful process.
Well, this has been good. Again, we're saying goodbye
It's a
for
lot
the
of
last
fun.
time. Again, we can't stop.
Yeah.
So
Then we'll keep playing, but
That's
it's
right.
okay. Maybe not on camera.
all right.
All right.
Cheers, everyone.